So welcome to lesson number 2. In this lesson, we're going to continue reading, okay? The text, will living longer threaten our lifestyle? And we're going to go into the close reading, קריאה מעמיקה, which means doing a lot more work, looking at questions and trying to answer them. We're also going to look at cause and effect, סיבה ותוצאה. We're going to try and understand the writer's opinion, argument, or claim, את הטענות המרכזיות של הכותב. We're going to try and understand if the writers are for something and בעד משהו, or are they against משהו, כן? Are they against, נגד דעה מסוימת. We're also going to look at the development of the argument, כן? כיצד הכותבים מפתחים גם כן את הטיעונים בתוך הטקסט. And finally, we're going to look at the uses of like, likely, and unlikely, which is going to be a short vocabulary lesson. Okay, so we're going to begin with our close reading, כן? הקריאה מעמיקה. What I want you to do is I want you to look at paragraph number 2 and read the following question. Okay? What are the two main reasons for the increase in the number of elderly people in industrial countries? So let's read the question again and let's see what we should focus on in order to find the correct answer in the text. So what are the two main reasons? מה הם שתי הסיבות העיקריות, or why, למה? Is there an increase in the number of elderly people, יש עלייה במספר האנשים המבוגרים, in industrial countries, במדינות מתועשות, כלומר במדינות העשירות, המדינות המערב. So let's pause here, look for keywords, חפשו מילות מפתח, and try and answer the question. Okay, so as I was saying before, the easiest way to answer this kind of a question is looking for keywords from the question in the text. So the words elderly people, אנשים מבוגרים, I can see this in the text with the words aging population, כן? אוכלוסייה מתבגרת. יש פה מילים מקבילות. Now I can also see the words industrial nations, okay, in the text where it says here all industrial countries. Now, it says here, if we read this together, it says all major industrial countries are facing an aging population. כן? כל המדינות המתועשות עומדות בפני אוכלוסייה מתבגרת. Now, I can see that this is a result, זו תוצאה. ותזכרו שבשאלה אנחנו מחפשים למה זה קורה, למה באמת יש עלייה במספר האנשים המבוגרים במדינות מפותחות. So, I know that I'm getting the result at the end of the sentence, so where will I find the cause, the סיבה? I'm going to go back and I'm going to read before, and I'm going to look for the reasons. אני אחפש את הסיבות לפני. So what I would do, I would start reading again from the beginning of the paragraph. It says here, during the last century, life expectancy, תוחלת החיים, expanded, התרחבה, in rich countries from around 50 to over 75. As public health measures like vaccinations and antibiotics greatly reduced deaths in childhood. Now I want you to notice the word as, okay? As means כיוון ש. This is a clue or a hint that I'm getting a reason. So why are people living longer? למה תוחלת החיים מתרחבת במדינות עשירות? כיוון שבגלל, אני מקבלת פה את הסיבה. Why? Because of public health measures, okay? Like vaccinations and antibiotics. בגלל חיסונים ואנטיביוטיקה וטיפולי בריאות טובים יותר, we're living longer. Now let's continue reading. As a result of that change, כתוצאה מהשינוי הזה, יש לי פה אזכור לסיבה הקודמת, מה שמחזק לי שלא רק שאני אקבל את סיבה אחת, אלא כרגע אני אקבל עוד סיבה. Okay? And a dramatic drop in the average number of children that women have in their lifetime, וגם בגלל מה? אוקיי? הירידה במספר הילדים שנשים מביאות לעולם. Because of this, okay, all major industrial countries are facing an aging population. So we have here a lot of יש לנו המון רמזים מילוליים בתוך הטקסט, as, מכיוון ש, as a result, כתוצאה מכך, and the word and, שאומר לי שיש פה שני פריטים או שתי סיבות, למה באמת יש גידול באוכלוסייה המבוגרת יותר. So let's just summarize and make this very, very nice and organized. So the answers should be public health measures like vaccination and antibiotics greatly reduce deaths in childhood. And the second reason for the aging population is a dramatic drop in the average number of children that women have in their lifetime. Okay, so this brings us to the issue of patterns of cause and effect. עד עכשיו הייתה לנו שאלה כרגע של שתי סיבות מרכזיות, וגם כן, אתם זוכרים, במשפט מתחת לכותרת היה לנו קישור בין אריכות ימים להשפעה כלכלית על החיים שלנו. So it's really important to notice words that can tell me when I'm getting a cause, מתי אני מקבלת סיבה, and words that can help me understand when I'm getting an effect, איזושהי תוצאה. Okay? So the following words, when I'm looking for the cause, כשאני מחפשת את הסיבה, I'm looking for why something happened. למה משהו קרה? מאיזו סיבה משהו קרה? And then when I'm looking for the result, כשאני מחפשת את התוצאה, you should ask yourselves what happened, מה קרה? כן? מאיזו סיבה ומה קרה, תמיד יכול לעזור לכם למצוא את הקשר בין סיבה לתוצאה. So let's look at some words that mean cause or reason. Okay? Remember that cause and reason mean the same thing. Okay? So we have words like as, because, since, and for. כן? כיוון ש, בגלל, מפני ש. And we also have words that can help you find the effect or the result, תוצאה. Okay? As a result, thus, לכן, therefore, לכן, and so, לכן. Look at how many ways you can say the same word in Hebrew. Okay? And when you're looking for a result, you can also focus on the verbs. Okay? כדאי להתרכז בפעלים. Okay? פעלים כמו increase, עלייה, or decrease, ירידה, or a drop, הייתה ירידה, or reduce, גם כן הפחתה. So all of these verbs tell you that something happened, קרה משהו, יש פה תוצאה מסוימת. So think about that for next time when you're looking for a cause, סיבה, or a result, תוצאה. Okay, so now we're at the end of the introductory section. And we already know from previous units that usually the end of the introductory section is important because the writers repeat their main claims or state their purpose, כן? הפסקה האחרונה של המבוא זו פסקה חשובה, כי שם אפשר באמת אולי לנסות לזהות את הרעיון המרכזי של הטקסט, ואולי גם הכותבים חוזרים על מטרת הטקסט. So, what I want you to do is let's look at the beginning of paragraph 3. Okay, we're going to focus on the first sentence and let's read it together. It says here, but a major question is whether that population, the older population, האוכלוסייה המתבגרת, will remain healthy and productive, or whether the growing number of old people will prove an unsupportable burden on society. Now again, as you can see, paragraph 3 begins with a major question is. כן? שאלה מרכזית היא. Now, if you noticed, the writer is actually repeating their question from the title. Okay, so the writer is trying to show us there is a debate. יש פה דיון ומחלוקת לגבי אריכות ימים. And let's look at this again. The writer is saying that on the one hand, okay, will the older population be healthy and productive? האם אותה אוכלוסייה מתבגרת תהיה בריאה ויצרנית, היא תתרום מבחינה כלכלית? Or whether, או האם, okay, this population will prove an unsupportable burden on society. Now, unsupportable burden means נטל בלתי נתמך. So what we're getting here in this question again is, will it be a positive thing to live longer, or will it be a negative thing to live longer? Okay, so now we're going to continue reading paragraph 3. Okay, we already know that at the beginning of paragraph 3, the writer is stating the controversy again, כן? הכותב מציג את המחלוקת שוב, ואנחנו נמשיך לקרוא את הפסקה כדי לקבל עוד מידע. Okay, so let's look at the following question. How might living longer affect pension funds and the government? כן? כיצד אריכות ימים תשפיע על קרנות הפנסיה ועל הממשלה? So read the end of paragraph 3, and I want you to look at the table and choose one answer for each box. So if you look at the table, this is the question that I want you to answer. How will living longer affect pension funds, and how will living longer affect the government? So we're going to pause here and let you work a little bit by yourselves. So you read the end of paragraph 3. Let's look at the question again, so we know what you have to focus on when you're reading the paragraph. So, how might living longer affect pension funds in the government? So for pension funds, will living longer be an economic advantage, האם זה יתרון כלכלי, or will it be an economic disadvantage? So remember, we're going to look for the key words from the question in the text. So the key word, of course, is pension funds. אנחנו מסתכלים על איך אריכות ימים תשפיע על קרנות הפנסיה. So the key word pension funds we can find here in the text. And then we're looking for some sort of a result. הם מחפשים איזושהי השפעה או תוצאה. So what might happen to the pension funds if we live longer? It says here in the text, threatening to bankrupt the pension schemes. So living longer might threaten to bankrupt. Now, I have to understand if this is a positive thing or a negative thing. Now, threatening זה לאיים. From this word, we already know that it's not going to have a good effect, a negative effect. The word bankrupt means פשיטת רגל. כלומר, what will happen is that they're afraid that living longer might cause the bankruptcy of the pension scheme, או פשיטת רגל של קרנות הפנסיה. So from this we can understand that some of the researchers are afraid that this might be a negative thing. So we can already answer in the question that the writers think that living longer will probably be an economic disadvantage. Now, let's look at the key word, the government. Okay. The government appears here in the text. Now let's see what the effect of living longer might be on the government. So I'm sure that you found this phrase. Living longer will put serious strains on the fiscal system. כן? זה יהווה נטל על המערכת הכלכלית. So here again we have the word strain, נטל, which is a negative word. So if we look at the second part of the question, how will living longer affect the government? Is it an economic burden, נטל כלכלי, or is it an economic blessing, ברכה כלכלית? And we already know that the correct answer should be an economic burden. So we're going to continue reading the text, and after we finish the introductory section, we're going to go to the next section, reversing the gains. Whenever you begin a new section, don't forget to reread the section heading. אל תשכחו לקרוא מחדש את כותרת המשנה של אותו קטע. So reversing the gains. Reversing the gains, we said, means היפוך התועלת או הרווח, או במילים אחרות אנחנו נראה באמת את ההיבט השלילי של אריכות ימים. Okay, so now we're going to take a short vocabulary break, and we're going to go back to a word that we just saw, okay, the word unlikely. Now, look at this symbol, okay? Look at this sign. Everybody knows what this sign means, okay? Of course, in Hebrew and in English it's the same. It means like, okay? So I want to talk about the word like and how the word like has different meanings in different contexts. So for example, I like English, כן? אני אוהבת אנגלית. אני בטוחה שגם אתם אוהבים אנגלית, or I hope you do. Okay, so that's one meaning of the word like. Let's look at another meaning of the word like, okay? Like could also mean כמו, okay? For example, I slept like a baby last night, כן? ישנתי כמו תינוקת אתמול בלילה. So again, the same word, a different meaning. So you have to be aware of that. We have other examples like dance like no one's watching, okay? Or sing like no one's listening. So here the word like means כמו, okay? Then we have another word which looks pretty similar to like, but it's the word likely. The word likely has a totally different meaning. Likely means סביר or סבירות. Okay, let's look at an example. According to statistics, it is likely that people will live longer. כן? לפי הסטטיסטיקה, הסבירות היא, סבירות גבוהה כמובן, שאנשים יחיו חיים ארוכים יותר. Okay, let's look at another word that's also similar to the word likely. It's the word unlikely. Okay, unlikely, לא סביר. Now this word unlikely, if you remember, in the text in paragraph 4, we had the word unlikely because the researcher thought that we might not live longer. Okay, so this word tells me that it's not like as we know it, but it means unlikely in the way of לא סביר. Okay, so let's just summarize and see what we did in this lesson. Okay? We look at the relationship between cause and effect, כן, הקשר בין סיבה ותוצאה. We looked at words, positive words and negative words, which help us follow the writer's claim. We looked at the development of an argument, and we also looked at words like, likely, and unlikely.